So I'll just share my screen. So you guys can just go to the example file. So here we're going to use a Villa Cabrera file to practice today's class. So we're going to do a night render for this file. So just I want you guys to just open this file. So some of the like people's system are a little slow. So let's open this file, sit back and relax for 2 minutes. I want to I want you guys to open your Villa Cabrera file in your example, and let's wait for 2 minutes to open this file.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
So my lumion is not working. Like I downloaded it yesterday.
Okay.
It's showing me that it is invalid.
The code is invalid. The
Yes, sir.
activation. Okay. Which version are you using now?
8, sir.
8. Okay. Like after this class, give me a put a message in my like private message or something. I'll share you the activation.
Okay, okay, sir.
What's your name? Like,
Prajakta.
okay, project. I'll share you the activation code for it.
Okay.
So like just can you put a message to me? I'll share the activation code right now. Okay.
Sorry, sir, I couldn't hear you.
Can you just put a message on my private chat so I can share the activation code for you? I can't do it in the official page.
Yeah, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sure.
Uh,
Yeah.
so guys, whenever you guys open a Lumion, turn off your internet connection and open it. You will get an option for giving a activation code. You can put the activation code. So each and every time when you open a Lumion, you have to activate. You have to crack it each and every time when you open. And also make sure your internet is off. If you are using a cracked version, turn off your internet and open the Lumion. You will get an option to put your crack key on it, and just put your crack key and open it, and then you guys can connect to your internet. I suggest you guys not to connect your network when you're working on the Lumion. So I just want to like connect with the internet to take classes and all. That's the reason I'm connecting. But other than that, if you guys are working with the Lumion, don't even connect to the network and use for classes, then it's fine. Like we have to practice it anyway. Like when you're working in the normal time, just turn off your connection and work on your Lumion. Projector, can you like put on message? I can share the key with you.
Yes, sir. I'm just doing it.
Is there any other site to download Lumia?
See, there are so many websites, there are so many sites you can download Lumion, but the thing is, some versions you will not get the crack in it. Some version you get a, like different like versions like 8.5 and 8.9.
Sometimes language.
Yeah. Language is also like so many problems you have. That I shared one website also. You guys can download it from that. So you'll get it. You'll get a crack version also in that. So it
No,
shows.
I'm asking. We have to crack it every time we open.
Exactly. Whenever
But
whenever you're
but
opening.
is there any other link so that we have to do it for
No,
only once and?
no. For this Lumion, every time when you open, you have to crack it and you have to open it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Prajakta, see, actually, your internet connection is off. Just turn off your internet connection and relaunch your Lumion again.
Okay, sir.
Then you will get an option to put your serial number again.
Yes.
Uh, Now I'm just sharing the serial number, the activation code. You can just put the activation code, whatever I'm saying, that activation code. You will open your Lumion.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, okay, cool. So guys, in today's class, we're going to see about the night render. Before we are seeing this night render, there are so many options. Okay, get into PC and it's working. Okay, Simar, can you just share, don't share the link in the group. Just share it to me. Whoever wants, you can get it from Simar or something, or you can just get it from me. Simar, can you just share the link with me so that whoever wants, I can share it to them. Don't share it in the group. This is totally unofficial. We can't use the cracked version in the official pages. So yeah, okay. So whoever wants the like software to download, just put a message to me so I can share the link with you guys. You can download it. Anyway, so guys, now we're gonna see few things before we start with the night render. So basically we're going to see about the selections, grouping, ungrouping, and also deleting the selections and making a edit for your selections. So as I told you guys, 5 things we can do it in the Lumion. Just a minute. Can we do any interior rendering today, like any room or kitchen? Pragya will be doing the interior render tomorrow. So we'll just see the exterior and night render in today's class. So tomorrow's class, I'll be sending a practice file also, like a SketchUp file. You guys can just download it and keep. Tomorrow we'll be seeing the night interior renders. Is it okay, Pragya? We'll be seeing
Oh,
tomorrow.
okay, sir. Okay,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. So let's learn something, like little deep about making a selections and deselecting, grouping, and everything. So as I told you, 5 things we can do it in the Lumion. Those things are changing your weather setting, and we guys know in the first day's class. Can you help me installing after this class tomorrow morning? Yeah, yeah, or Arvind. Arvind, I'll help you out to install it. Maybe like after this class, after the 11:15, after I'll have my dinner and I'll just sit with you guys to install the software. So whoever have doubt in installing software, just put one message after 11 or something. I can just sit individually and I can help you out to installing software. Okay, so as I told you, 5 things you guys can do it in the Lumion. First is weather setting and landscaping. You guys know how to make a landscaping changes. So when I say landscaping, it is raise your land, lower your land, jitter, and also smoothing. Those things and all we can do it under the landscaping. And in the yesterday's class, we learned how to make a texturing and add a texturing, delete texturing, add a control like effects like reflection, glossiness. Anyway, like in the upcoming classes also, we'll be seeing the materials also in applying different types of materials in different objects. Anyway, in the tomorrow's interior class, we'll be seeing in the depth about the materials also. No need to worry about it. If you guys haven't like listened properly about the materials, we'll be seeing this anyway. And let's see something depth about the objects. So this is really important: creating objects, placing objects, and making a changes to the objects. And four things are done in the Lumion, and the last one is rendering. So you can do a photo render, you can do a pay attention to the cursor, we can do a photo render, we can do a video render. So video render, when I say it is a 3D walkthrough, fly through, those things and all we can do it. And finally, it's a 360-degree panorama render. So once we set everything, all these 4 options, we can just go to this render option and we can do it everything in the render options. So as I told you, we have build mode and we have a render modes. So these 3 are the render modes, and this is the build mode, and here we have an option to save your file. So these are the options, these are the things we can do it under the Lumion. So we have only these things. Very simple to learn Lumion, and it's actually 6 days and 5 days. It's more enough to learn all the things in the Lumion. So just pay attention, and I'll make sure you guys to learn all the things in the last day before this end of this class, this session. I'll make sure you guys will learn all the tools and settings and everything in the Lumion. So just pay attention what I'm doing now. We're going to see a little depth about objects. So if you guys have any doubt anytime, stop me at any time, ask me your doubts. Let's clear your doubts and let's go to the next session, next move, next tools. So if you guys are having any doubt, let's not go to the next move, next tools or everything. Let's clear your doubt and let's go to the next effects or tools or anything. So if you guys have any doubt, stop me at any time and ask me your doubts. Okay. So let's come to your objects. So I want you guys to put your cursor on the objects and click on it. So we will be getting these options under the object. So under each and every settings, we have a different settings options here. So under the pay attention to the cursor, under the landscape, we have sun settings, cloud settings, and everything. Under the landscape, we know how to make use of this landscape. In the second day, we learned how to do all this. And third thing, materials. Yesterday we learned about this material. We'll be seeing this materials also in the upcoming classes. Now we'll be seeing about the objects and also the renders Under the object, I want you guys to put your cursor for the nature. So basically, if you want to make selection of your trees, you have to be on your nature. So basically, you guys can see here, my trees, everything comes under the nature. So just go to your nature and click on the select object. So whatever the objects you're seeing here are everything, trees, grass, plants, flowers, everything come under the nature category. So we have 8 categories here in the object. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8 categories in the object, and one ninth category is importing object. So these categories we have already object loaded in the lumion. For all these 8 categories we have object already loaded in the lumion. If you want to get a new object from your computer outside your lumion, you have to be on your import. Under this import you can get any of your model to your lumion. If you want to place any object inside your lumion, you have to be on any of these categories. So if you want to make any changes to your trees, you have to be on the nature category. So I'm just going to click on the nature category, and I'm just going to click on the move tool. So you guys can see I will get the control point for all my trees. So you guys can see it, right? I'll get the control point for all my trees basic because I'm under the nature category. So I'll, for instance, I'll do one thing. I'll just take one car and I'll just place it here. So you guys can see I have a car here and I have a trees here, and you guys know car is from the different category and the tree is from the different category. So just someone send the chat. Thank you. Okay, cool. Okay. So we have a car in the different category and the trees in the different category. So if you want to make any changes for the car, you have to be on the car category. So you only that case you will get the control point for your car. So I'm in the car category and I will not get the control point for any of the trees. The reason is I'm in the car tree. I will get the control only for the objects like transport. So if you want to make a move for this object, I click on the move tool, you will get a control point for the car. So we can do the move for this object by taking your size. You can size your object however you want. By taking your height, you can change the height of the object however you want. And also you can take your rotate and you can rotate your object however you want. And you guys can see it here. I will not get the control point for any of my tree. The reason is I am not in my nature category. Only the objects which are from the transport category, only for those objects you will get the control point. So if you want to delete it, so you have an option here. So both these options are common in all the categories: move, size, height, rotation, context, and delete. We'll be seeing about this context and delete in today's class. So we have this option common in all my categories. So basically, if I want to delete this, go to your trash object, click on this control point, so you will delete the object. Now if you want to delete any of your trees which is placed here, you have to go back to the nature category. Under this nature category you will get a control point for all your trees, right? So I want you guys to target on any tree. So I'm just going something like this. I'm just going to target on any tree. So basically I'm just going to select some type of tree like this. Okay, now I'll just take my move tool and you guys can see here. Sorry, any doubt? Okay, so I will get a move object control point for all my tree category because I'm in the tree categories, right? So I'll get the control point for all the trees. So if you guys want to select only the particular tree, so you guys can see it here. There are some different types of trees here. Say type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4. So just say there are 4 types of categories of types of trees here. If I want to select only particular type of tree, so say this type is 1 and I want to select type 1 tree in my complete lumion. So let's see how to do it. So I'm just going to take my context menu. So click on your context menu and just select one tree. So I'm just going to select this tree, and under this I'm going to click on the selection. Guys, make note of it. So under the selection we have different types. Under the selection we have options for select identical objects and select, deselect all, delete selected, and select all objects in the category and the library. So if you guys want it, just make a note of it. What all things we find under the selection, just take a note or pen or something. Just make a note of it. What all we have under the selection, and under this select identical objects and select all object is a really important thing. So two things are really important under the selection: select identical objects and select all objects in the category. So let's first see select identical object. So basically when I click on the select identical object, I will select this type 1 tree in my entire lumion. So I have selected the type 1. Say I am selecting a type 1 tree. You can call it as a like a mango tree only, you can just call it. So if I want to select the mango tree in my entire lumion, just select the tree. Under the selection, you have to make sure you are in the context menu. Go to your context menu. So now I'm selecting a mango tree. Click on the mango tree. It's not a mango tree, but I'm just calling it something like this for the easy understanding. Click on it and you'll get two options: selection and transformation. Click on the selection and click on your select identical objects. So basically I will select all the mango trees in my this scene, basically in my lumion. Clicking on it, so you guys can see I have selected all my mango trees in the lumion. You can see it, right? I haven't selected all the trees, but only the mango trees in my lumion. I'm just going little to the plan view and I'm showing you guys. You guys can see this tree is not selected and this tree is not selected because this is a different type of tree. I have selected only the mango tree in my lumion. So these are the identical objects. I made a selection. So after making a selection, this is really important. Pay attention to this, guys. I made a selection something like this. So however, like we did the move for single object, we did a move for size object, we did a change height for a single object. Now we have selected a multiple object like this. By going to the move tool, we can control all the selected objects together. So you guys can see wherever I see a blue color dot, then the tree is selected. Wherever you find a white color dot, the tree is not selected. The reason is this is some other different type of tree. Wherever I get a blue dot, those are the mango trees in the lumion. Those are the mango trees I have selected in this scene. So by taking my move tool, just click on one object, one control point. Basically it will select all the selected objects and you can make a changes to it. Now I'm just going to click on the move object, click and move it. So basically you will move all the selected objects together. You guys can see it, right? So I'm moving all the selected objects together. So I'll just get it back to the same place. I'll just put it something like this. And if you want to size your object, just click on any of your selected object and you can make a sizing for your basic scaling for your all selected object. So by making this multiple selection, you can all control it together if you have any multiple selections like this. So I can increase and decrease height for it. So when I say increase and decrease, I can lift it up and I can put it down however I want. And also by taking a rotate option, you can rotate it however you want. So you guys can see it, right? I'm rotating all the selected objects together. So just try this out. I want you guys to try this out. Just take your context menu and make sure you're under the nature. Then only you can select you will get the control points for your trees. Otherwise, if you are in some transport or any other categories, you will not get a control point for your trees. Make sure you're under the trees and take your context menu. Select your tree. If you want to select only the mango trees, or like just say something like this, I'm just saying it as a mango tree, but it's not exactly the mango tree, but for the easy understanding I'm calling it as a mango tree. So just click on the mango tree. You will go to the context menu, click on the mango tree. Under the selection you will find the option for select identical objects. So if you are giving the option of select identical objects, you will select all the mango trees in the scene. So I made a selection of identical objects. If you guys want to select the entire trees in your scene, when I say scene, this is your lumion, this package, basically this view, this lumion file. Okay, if you want to select the entire trees in this this lumion file, I'm just going to the context menu. Make sure you're in the context menu. Click on any tree and go to the selection. Here we have an option for select objects in the category. So we guys know nature is one category, right? So whatever the objects we placed under the nature, So it could be a tree, it could be a grass or leaves or anything under this nature. We will select all the things together in one go. So I'm just going to click on it. So you guys can see I have completely selected all the nature together. So all the trees together in the one go. So you guys know by taking this move tool, you can move it completely together. By taking this size object, you can make a control for size object for all the objects together, and also rotation and also the height change for all the objects together in the one go. I just want you guys also to try this. Just take your context menu and put your cursor of any of the tree and give a selection for select trees under all the categories. So you'll select all the things together. If you just want to particularly select any one of the objects, so just put the cursor on for only for that object selected with the context menu. You will get the option for selection. Under the selection, select only identical objects. Just try this out. If you guys have any doubt, ask me. So any doubts, anyone? Guys, anyone is using Lumion 10 here? Anyone? Because the option, the interface is going to be little different in the lumion 10 and the lumion 8. So anyone is using lumion 10 here? Anyone?
I'm using 9.5.
9.5. So still you are getting the same options, right? Whatever we are seeing in the lumion 8.
Yeah. Some options are misplaced like that, but options all are there.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Because in the lumion 10, we'll have different options. We'll not get the same kind of options whatever we have. The interface is little different, but you will get all the options and what are things we are doing it here. Even you'll do it there, but only the interface will be different in the lumion 10 and these versions.
Yeah, you have to search it. I mean, the context menu is right above there.
Exactly. You will get somewhere here.
Yeah.
So you have to click on this arrow. So the context menu will pop up at this place.
Right side of the.
Yes. In the near to the properties, you will have some option here to click arrow. Click on the arrow, your option will pop up here. So basically the context menu will come here. Okay. So guys, any doubts in making a multiple selections, selecting a identical objects and also selecting the entire objects in the category? Anyone? Any doubts? Okay. So guys, if you want to deselect this, now I have selected all the things together. And if you guys want to deselect this, there is no option to escape to go back of your selection. By using your escape or something, you can't make a deselect for these selections. So here we have an option to deselect. Pay attention to the cursor. This is the option where you can deselect all your object. Any of your object you selected in the Lumion, you have selected in the scene, just clicking on this, you can make a deselect for everything at one go. Or also you can just go to your context menu. Under this context menu also, by clicking on any of your selected object, go under the selection. Here you will have an option for deselect all, and also you'll have an option for deselect all at this place. By just clicking on this option, you can just deselect all your selections like this. Now none of your object got selected here because we deselected all the objects together in the one go. Okay, now let's go little depth about making selection and grouping and everything. I don't want to do a selection. I don't want to show at that place because there is a more cluster of trees and you will not understand what I'm doing there. So I'll just come out of this place and I'm just going to place some 2-3 objects. I'm going to place a different trees and from the different sizes and everything. So basically different types of trees I'm placing, and I'm going to place some more different category also. So I'm just going to take a transport and I'm going to place one car here, and I'm going to take my indoor something and I'm going to place some ball or something here. Okay, it's not visible this object. I'll just put one bigger object, something like I'll just take some. Okay, I'll just put some bed only somewhere so we can see it properly on the screen. So I'm just going to put some object like this. So we have a different object from the different categories. So you guys know very well, if by taking a context menu, I can select only this tree. Can you anyone tell why I'm getting only the control point only for the bed here? Anyone? I'm not getting a control point for this tree or for this car or something. Anyone? Any idea?
Because you
Because we
selected
have select the chair.
Exactly, because I'm in the category of indoor, so I can select only the objects only from the indoor category. So what I have to do if I want to select all the objects, in case if I want to select this bed, in case if I want to select this tree and this car together, what I have to do is pay attention. This is really important, guys. So I made a selection anyway for this bed. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on the nature. Now I got a control point for natures like trees. Now hold control. Now we can start making a multiple selection. You can add selection to your selected object. So now we made a selection with the indoor object. We made a selection already. Just switch it to nature. Now we got a control point for natures. Now hold control, click on this. Now you can see I made a selection of the bed also and also the tree. Now holding control, I can select this tree also. Now I selected bed and this tree and this tree also. And if you want to make selection of this car, you will not get the control point. The reason is you are under the nature. So you have to go ahead and click on the transport to get the control point for this object. Now I'm just going to click on the transport. So you guys can see I got a control point for my car object here. Now hold control, click on this object also. Now you guys can see I made a selection of different categories in this place. And all together you can make a move, all together you can make a sizing, height change, and also the rotation. And if you want to delete all together, just take your trash and just click on any one of the object and you will delete all the things together. And I'm just going to undo it. And undo is in this, it's not like any other 3D softwares. You can't use your Control Z to go multiple times back or something, and you don't have a shortcut also. Like it will not work if you use Control Z to go make a undo. The only option is to undo is if you get it at this place. For some tools you will not get this undo. Sometimes you will get a undo, but not more than 2 times in the lumion. For some tools it might come to 3 times also, but not more than 3 to 4 times in the lumion. So if you're getting it, use it. If you're not getting it, just delete that object and then replace it with something, or you can just delete that object and you can make a different effect or something. You can do it at that place. If you're getting, then it's fine. If you're not getting, then you have to delete the object and make changes for those objects. So I want you guys also to select, I want you guys also to place different object from the different category and use your control to make a multiple selection of different objects. Just switch between your categories to get the control points and hold control to click to make a selection. So you will be selecting the multiple objects in the different categories also. If your system is slow, like when you're navigating or something, if your system is slow, if it is lagging, just go to your settings and reduce your editor resolution and editor quality, and make sure you switched off your high quality trees in editor and high quality terrain in editor. You can just make your little faster your navigations and workflow. You can make it little faster if you reduce your resolutions under the settings. So you guys can see my like system speed is like in the minimum. So I just turned it on to 100% and editor quality to high quality. Even I can switch on both of the things, but I don't want in this case. Anyway, I don't know. I don't want to see too much of details in the trees also. Like anyway, I'll get the when in the render, when I'm doing a render, I'll get all the details. I'll just get 100% quality of the renders. So it's just a on-screen preview. Whatever you're seeing here, the settings whatever you're giving here, it's nothing but your on-screen preview of the details. Anyway, what it won't affect your render quality. These things will not affect your render quality. This is just the on-screen preview. When you render it, you will see the 100% details and everything. So this is just to work with your Lumion on-screen preview. You can adjust it. It will give some like little smooth flow for your Lumion and working around with it. Okay. Now I'm just going to select all these things together with my move mode. So guys, pay attention to this. If you guys want, make note of it. We have two modes in the Lumion. In the objects under this settings, we have two modes. One is place mode and one is move mode. Under this place mode, you will get options like different categories, and you can place any object under the place mode. So under the here we have something called move mode. Under this move mode, we can like select different types of objects, and also we can create a group for objects, and we can do some things like so many things with this. Let's see only half thing in today's class. I don't want to confuse you guys. There are two modes and different types of filters and different types of settings. We can do it again. So I'm not going to confuse you guys in the same class by showing all this. So today we will see how to make a multiple selections, how to make a identical object selection, how to make a entire objects of same category selection, and creating a group and ungrouping the objects. Only we'll be seeing today's class, we'll be seeing only this. Tomorrow we'll see how to randomize the selections and those things. I don't want to confuse you guys in today's class only by teaching everything. So let's make sure we learn everything by tomorrow's class about all the objects and everything. So I want you guys to take your move mode now. Just switch to your move mode, and if you guys want to make a selection of all this, so in the AutoCAD, in our SketchUp, by clicking and dragging, by making a box, we can make a selection of the objects, right? Even in the Lumion, you can do that. Go under the move mode, click and drag. So by making this box, basically you can make a box something like this. So whatever the objects is coming under the box, you will get those objects selected. So you guys can see it, right? Selection count 5. So it says you have selected 5 objects in your selection. Leave it. So I made a selection of these objects. And if you guys want to remove this ball from your selection, you guys know it, by holding control, you can select the object and also you can deselect your object. I'm going to hold control and give a click on this. So you guys can see I deselected this object from my selection. Now I can just take my delete option and I can delete it. I can use any of these tools like scaling, moving, changing height and rotation, everything I can do it under these options. So basically we have different options to give a selection. After giving a selection to it, we have these options to making a changes for it. So I want you guys to take your move tool, I mean the move mode, and drag it, click and drag. So whatever the objects coming and inside your box, those things will get selected. And by holding control, we can make a selection for it and we can deselect those object also. So if I want to deselect only these two objects, so I made a selection of only the trees and one of the car here. Now I can just delete this object or I can just make any changes, something like this. Okay. Now I'm just going to deselect all. So by clicking on this option, I'm just going to deselect it all. And if you guys think I want both the trees in one group, so I don't want, like if you want to, like make all the natures in one group, and if you want to make these two objects in the one group and car in one group, anyway, this car is a separate object. You don't want to make a group for it. So if you guys feel I don't want, like this two anchor points for this, like I don't want two like control points for this. So by clicking on one control point, if you guys feel like to control all the selected objects, so I'm going to create a group now. So pay attention to this. So I'm just going to select these two objects. So by holding control, you can make a multiple selections, right? Or under the move tool, okay, just deselect. Under the move tool, by making a click, drag, you can make a multiple selections, right? Okay. Now anyway, I made a selection with any of the way I can make a selection, either by clicking and dragging under the move tool or holding the control. You can click on the object, so you will get the multiple objects selected in the lumion. Okay, anyway, I made a selection here. Now under the move mode, guys, pay attention to this. Under the place mode, you will not get the option for grouping. So if you guys have selected more than one object in the lumion, under the move mode, you will get an option for create a group. Pay attention to this. If you are in the place mode, you will not get the option of grouping. And also if you are selected more than one object, under the move mode, you will get an option for create a group. So I'm just going to click on the create group. So you guys can see I made group for both the objects. So when I say group, by clicking on one control point, so basically for this two object, I'll get a one control point. So with using this one control point, I can control both the objects together. So if I want to move my object, by clicking on one control point, I can move it wherever I want. Or if I want to delete, click on one point, you'll delete both the objects together. If you want to rotate it, you can rotate it however you want. Like even you'll get the option for heading and the rotation like this, and also this kind of rotations in your lumion. Okay. If you want to change height, by using your one control point, you can do all those changes. So I'll just rotate it to see both the objects, something like this. Okay. So this is grouping. Now I'm going to group this bed and this ball. It's nothing that you can group only the same categories. You can group any kind of categories together. So I'm just going to deselect all, and now I'm going to make a group for this two objects. So you guys can see if I'm under the place mode, if I'm under the nature, I'll not get the I'll not get the control points for both of these tools, both of this object. The reason is I made a group for this. So to get the control point for this group, I have to be on my move mode. Then only I'll get the option. I will get the control point for even for this nature, even for this two trees, because we made a group. So if you want to control this group, you have to be on your move mode. Please pay attention to this. I made a group. After making a group, if you are in the nature also, you will not get the control point. The reason is you made a group and you will find the control point for the group under the move mode. So if you are in the move mode only, you will get this control point. The reason is it is grouped under the move mode, not under the place mode. So we have an option under the move mode only, the grouping thing, right? So keep it in this way. We made a grouping under the move mode, right? So you can control this object if you are under the move mode only. Then only you will get the control point for this, and you can control this point. Now, if you're in the place mode, you will get the for to get the control point for this, you have to be on your indoor. So we got a anchor point, basically the control point for both of this. Just go to your move mode. You can just make a click and drag. You selected both of the things together. And if you want to make a group, you guys know very well, under the move mode only, you will get the option for grouping. Just click on it. So you guys can see I got a common anchor point for both the objects. So one anchor point, common anchor point for both the object, and one common anchor point for both the object. So if you guys want to make a move, just by clicking on one object, one control point, you can move however you want. And also this is really important if you want to make a duplicate of any object. So if you want to make a duplicate of this object, hold Alt, click and drag, you will get a duplicate of the same object. So I'm just holding Alt, click and drag the control point, you will get a duplicate of the object. Even for the group also, you can get a duplicate however you want. Hold Alt to get a duplicate. So guys, note on this, by holding Alt, you can get a duplicate of the object. By holding Control, you can select and deselect your objects. Just try this out. Any doubts, anyone?
Sir, I have a phone also. The first one, we
Mhm.
can edit all categories at a time
Yeah.
by pressing the
Yeah.
control. The first thing, could you
Okay.
explain once again?
Okay, so see, now here I'll just go to this option. So I just show this trees how to make a ungrouping, make a multiple selection of the identical objects. So so your name, I didn't get your name.
Ram Prasad, sir.
Ramraj, right?
Yeah, Rajaram. Yes.
Okay, Ram Prasad, correct?
Yes.
Okay, Ram Prasad. See here, if you want to make a selection of only this kind of tree, so we have this type of tree placed in the complete Lumion. You can see I placed one tree here, and I placed the same tree here. So we have a multiple duplicates of the same tree all around the buildings, right? If you
Yes,
want to
sir.
make selection of only this tree in the entire Lumion file, just go to. So I just deselect everything. Just go to place mode, or if you can do it in the either in your move mode also, place mode also. These two options are common in your context, I mean your place mode also, in your move mode also. Just take
Yes.
your context menu. Okay,
Yes,
just take
yes.
your context menu. If you want to select this object in your entire Lumion file, okay,
Yes.
so go,
Yes.
make sure you're under the nature, then only you will get the control point for selecting the trees. So
Yeah, yes.
trees under the nature category, right? So
Yes.
make sure you're under the nature. Take your context menu, click on the control point. You will get two options: selection and transformation. So
Sir, 1 minute. Sir, not this one, sir. The second one, controlling all the categories like furniture, car.
okay,
Yeah,
anything,
that one, sir.
anyway, you will see it under the selection only. Click on the selection. You will get an option for select identical objects also. If you're clicking on select identical object, you will select only this tree in your entire Lumion file. If you want to
Yes.
make a entire category selected, select all objects in the category. So you will select entire trees in your entire lumion file. Okay.
Yes,
Or if you
yes,
want to select all the different categories in one go. So we have
yes,
different categories here, right? If you want to make
yes,
selection of all this thing together, you have to be on your move mode. Click on your move mode. So you will get an anchor point for all your objects. You will get an anchor point for all different categories of your object. So guys, pay attention to this, everyone. So you guys are getting a control point for all your objects, right? So I can just click and drag. So I'll select all the objects in a one go. So you guys can see I just made a click and drag. I made a selection of all the objects together. In case when you're clicking and dragging, if you feel I don't want this car object to get selected, I want only these objects to get selected. So here we have a filters here. So what all things you want to get selected, only keep those things on and keep other things off. So I just want to make a selection of only the bed and the tree. So bed is from indoor objects and tree is from nature object, right? So just switch off all the filters. So I don't want any other categories to get selected. So I want only these two categories to get selected. So keep your nature and the indoor on. Make sure you are under the move mode to get these filters, and then just take your move mode and just click and drag. So you will not see get the anchor point for okay. Start nature. I'll just I don't know why I'm not getting it. So you guys can try it. You guys will get the anchor point for the nature and also the indoor object. So just by like clicking and dragging, you can make a selection of only the car objects together. So I will not get the anchor point for the other objects. So I'll get anchor point only for the car object. Just by clicking and dragging, you can make a multiple selection of only the car objects. Just try this out. Ram Prasad, just try this out. No, just make a selection of it. So you will get all the objects selected together.
yes, I will.
So guys, here I made a mistake. So these things I have made a group. So if the objects are in the group, I will not get the this kind of multiple selection under this clicking and dragging. So I'll get the anchor points only for the. So I'm just switching off all the filters off. So now I'm just keeping only the nature and the indoor. And you guys know this both the objects are nature and from the indoor, but I will not get the anchor point. I will not get the control point. The reason is these objects are grouped. If the objects are grouped, you will not see under the filters. You will not get the control point for your filters because the objects are grouped already. So you will not get the control point. So in this case, if you want to make all the things selected, so basically you need to ungroup it. So I'm making a selection for it. So here, once you group, you will get an option for this. So you can add a selection, you can ungroup also. Let's see this later. So by clicking on this, now I ungrouped the selection. So I can make a individual selection of my trees. Now I'm going to ungroup this also. Now I'm going to click on this. So basically the select, now I'm going to make a ungroup for this. Click on the ungroup. So now everything is a individual objects. Now I'm just going to the move mode. Now I'm going to switch off the transport sounds. Anyway, we haven't added any sounds or effects or something. Anyway, I'll just switch off everything, and even the car is switched off. So I will not get the control point for cars. So I can just click and drag to make this thing selected. So you can use your filters also to show what all things, what all objects you want to get the control points, and you can make a selection. So if you want to make only your cars get selected here, just switch off your deselect all, switch off your nature and the indoor, but keep only the transport on. So you'll get the control points only for your transport. Now just click and drag If your selection covers your other category objects also, it will not give the selection. So it will just give only the selection of your car transport category. Getting it? And you can just take your delete option and you can delete it, or if you want to move object you can move it, or if you want to make a group for all those objects you can group it together. So I'm just taking my move mode, making one selection to it. So under the move mode you will get an option for create group. Just click on the create group. You made a group for it, and once you create a group you will get this option in your right corner of your screen. So by clicking on this you can ungroup your object. So you will get the control point for individual objects. Making a selection, create a group. Now I made a group here, and by taking my any of my move mode or anything, I can control with the one point all these objects together. And by clicking on this ungroup, I can ungroup all the objects together. Or if you just want to select all the objects together, like all different categories also, just switch off all the filters and you will be seeing all the control points for all the objects under the move mode. Just make a click and drag selection. You'll get all the selections together, something like this. If you want to group it, group it. If you want to move it all together, move it, delete it, everything, you can do it at one go. If you're making a selection, something like this. So you can, I just deleted all the objects together. Getting it? Ram Prasad, you understood, right? This making a
Yeah, sir. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Oh, cool. So any others, any doubt? Making a group selection, multiple selection, making a duplicate selection. Okay. Under this context menu, we have so many things like replacing the object, and also, like library and everything. We'll see. I don't want to confuse you guys, like showing everything in the same day. So under this context menu, when you click on some object, under the selection, we have something called library. Anyway, the selection, so basically it will just make a selection, and by holding, you guys know, by holding control, you can make a selection and deselection. And deselect all, we will get it here only option to make a deselect. And we guys know how to delete also the selection. Just clicking on this and click on the object, you delete the selection. And you guys know how to make a select identical objects and select all objects in the category. And we'll see this library in next class. I don't want to confuse you guys, because under the library we have two more options to replace this object with some other object and everything. So let's see this later in tomorrow's class. And under the same context menu, we have something called transformation. So basically we have a reset size rotation, we have randomize, space xy, align, place on ground, same height, same rotation. So we have different things like this. We will see all this in tomorrow's class. I don't want to confuse you guys by showing everything in once in the today's class. So I want you guys to make sure you guys learn how to make a grouping, how to make a multiple selection, how to make a duplicate of the object, how to make an identical object selection, and also how to make a selection for all the objects in the same category. So guys, any doubts in this thing? What are the 5 things, whatever we learned today? This is really important in Lumion actually. Other things are so easy to learn, but grouping and everything is little difficult. It's hard to catch up also. So any doubts with these 5 things? Anyone? Guys, at least I want a reply from you guys.
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. It's like, like if you guys are not replying and if you guys are not interacting with me, it's like I'm sitting on one side, I'm playing a game with a lumion. So I want an interaction from you guys. So if you guys are not understanding any point, just stop me and ask me. And if you guys understood something, when I ask, just reply whether you guys understood or not or something, please. Otherwise, it's like I'm just sitting on one side and playing a lumion game here. Okay. So let's start doing a night render for this. So if you guys want to do a night render, so basically you need to see the night view of this building. Otherwise, if you start placing any light for it, you will not see the effect. So I'm just going to start placing the light for this building. So under this lights and the special object, the last category in our objects, we have an option for lights and the special object. Just go to the lights and special object. Now we're going to select the object, and under the spotlights and area lights, I'm going to use the spotlight. Click on the spotlight and take any of the light, and now I'm just going to apply it on this place. So I'm just going to apply it on this wall, on the ceiling. You guys can see I applied the light, but still I'm not seeing any difference. The reason is there's a whether sun is up, I have to get the sun little down to see some effect on my screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going back to my weather, put the sun down. Then only you will start seeing the effect of the light which you are applying in the lumion in the on screen. So just put your weather down and then start adding the lights. Then only you will see the actual effect what you are getting in the screen. So just put your screen sun down and then come back to your objects. I want you guys to do this. Just go to your weather and put your sun down and just go to your objects back and let's start adding a light for this building. So whenever I start a lumion, whenever I do a night render, I always first add a area light to the building, and then I'll start adding other spotlights and ceiling lights and cove lighting and line lighting. So there are 3 different types of lighting. One is spotlights. I'll just show. So there's something called spotlights and omni light and the area lights. If you guys are using lower version like 6, 7, you guys will not have an area light. So you guys will be seeing only spotlight, omni light, and the utilities here. And if you guys are using latest version, you will be seeing all these things together. So whenever I start a night render, I always give a area light. So basically this area light gives some light fill for the entire space. So I'm just going to take my light, select object and go to your area light. Take your area light and place it somewhere in your building, in front of your building. So I'm just going to click on this place. So I added an area light for this. So I clicked on this. So I applied on the water surface. So wherever you take any object, you can take any object, and wherever you're clicking, the object will go and sit on the surface. So if I'm just taking a tree or something, and if I'm trying to place it on this surface, you have to click on this surface. If I try to place on this, I'm going to place my tree on my water. So you guys can see it, right? I placed tree on my water. So wherever you're going to click with your mouse, there the object gonna sit. So I'll just delete this. So now coming back to the lights, so I placed one area light on my water. I don't want this area light to be on the water. I just wanted to lift it up. So you guys have an option to change height, right? Click on this change height, click on this object, basically the area light, click and take it up. So basically you will have a light fill for your entire building. So once you guys add a light, you will get the light properties in your right side of your screen. If you guys are not seeing it, then you would be probably switched off this option. Click on the show more properties. You will get these options on your screen. Here you have an option to increase and decrease your brightness of your light. And here you have an option to increase and decrease your width of your light. You guys can see it, right? So I switched on the light source off. If you guys switched on the light source on, you'll be seeing this light also, the shape of the light also. So I can increase the width, I can decrease it, and also I can increase the length and like width however I want. And there's something called fall off. So here my fall off is 100%. If you increase it, it will reduce the light fill in your building. So you'll be seeing only the light and you will not see the fall off. You will not see the light falling. So fall off, it's going to reduce your fall. So by increasing, it will reduce it. By decreasing, it will increase the light fill on your area. So I want you guys also to put one area light and increase the height of the light and keep it somewhere here with light source off. Increase it however, like top, however you want. So basically we need to see all the details of your building. So if you just add a spotlight on certain places, you'll be seeing only the light on those places. Other part of your buildings will not seen on your night render. So always start with your area light, place it wherever you want to see, wherever you have a building. So in case if you have a building at somewhere at this place also, just add one more area light at this place and lift it up the area light. So you will see the entire building with little light fills. If you guys are using Lumion 6 or something, you will not have an area light. In this case, you can add a Omni light to it. So just take your light fill and just click on the places, click on somewhere here, and now take your change height and lift it somewhere here and place it at this place. No need to take it to that height, just place it somewhere here. I just remove this area light and I'll show you guys. So this is the light fill I applied here. I just delete it. So I just take my, again, I just take my light fill. I'm just going to click on this place and take it little up somewhere here and increase your brightness. So you can, even you can do it by adding a light fill of from your Omni lights, and also you can take an area light and you can place it wherever you want. So if you guys are using Lumion 8, Lumion 6 or something, you can use this Omni light. Otherwise, Lumion 8, 9, 10, you can use an area light. And even here we have an option for fall off. I can decrease and increase the light density, whatever I'm seeing on the screen. I can adjust it however I want. Okay, now we added a exterior lighting, but my building is looking, my building is looking so dull here. I just like showing highlighted all my exterior places, and my building is looking dull here. So we need to apply little light to the interior spaces also, right? Let's go in and let's add some lightings to the interior places. So you can just apply a area light if you have, if you're using a latest version, you can add an area light to these places. Make sure you are clicking on the ceiling part. So basically you will have a light fall on your floor. So if you are adding a Omni light, your light will spread to the entire throughout your complete spaces. If you are adding a area light, your light fall will be from top to the bottom. So I want you guys to add a area light if you guys are using latest version, or if you guys are using lower version, you can add a Omni light in that case. I'm just going to click on here, and wherever we see the glass part, the exterior part from outside, add all the lights to those places. So add a area light to those places. So here I'm seeing one places, the place is dull here, dark here. Click on the area light. So I added one area light to this place. I think one tree is coming inside to the building. I just delete it. So going to the nature, going to the delete, I can control those points, right? Control the trees, right? I'm just going to delete this tree. I think all of my trees came little front. When I replaced it, I mean, I changed the location. I moved it, it came little inside. So let's change it. So context menu, click on one tree, selection, select all objects in the category, taking my move tool, I mean the move option, I can just move all the context, selection, select all objects in the category, take your move tool, and then just move all your objects little far, because my trees, my trees came inside the building when I placed it. So I'll just move it little away from my building. Okay. Now deselect all to deselect all the trees together. Okay. Now let's add some light to this first floor. Same thing, just go inside the space. You can't add a light for the interior space from the exterior. You have to see your surface, then only you can add a light for that surface. If you guys are trying to add a light from the outside only, you can't add it. So basically you will be adding a light to the glass here. But if you want to add a light to the ceiling, you have to see that surface, then only you can apply the light for that surface. If you want to apply the ceiling, you have to go inside and you have to apply it. You can't apply the light from outside of your building. So basically you will be applying somewhere in the glass only. So I'll just delete it. If you want to apply it for the ceiling, just go inside. You have to see the surface where you want to apply it, and then take your light and then click on it wherever you want. So you will have a light fill on your surface. So now I'm just going to increase the brightness however I want. And you guys,
Sir, where,
yeah,
sir,
yeah,
where we get the light properties? From where
light, this area light.
yeah, light properties.
Okay.
The color pattern.
Okay, these things.
Yeah, yeah.
We are using lumen 10 or what?
8, sir, 8. It's the same which you are using now.
Okay, just go to select object, click any of your object, start applying, you will get the light properties on your screen. If you're not getting it, then you should click on the show more properties, then you will see the options.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Okay. Now I'm going to add the light for this places, for this spaces. So go inside, see the surface, and then give a click for it. So you will add a light for that space. So I'm just going to make sure I have added all the lights inside all my building spaces. I think everything is done. Now let's add some few spotlights for my building. So when I say spotlight, it's I think you guys know IES lights, right? In the V-Ray and all, you guys would have learned IES lights. In the Revit also, you guys would have learned IES lights. So here,
Yes, sir.
yeah, so we have something called spotlights. Those things are the IES lights. So here we have different types of spotlights. We, the Lumion, we're gonna call this as spotlights. So you can apply any kind of spotlights to your building. So you guys have to make sure which like considering the spaces, you have to select your lights however you want. So I'm just going to take my this kind of light. I don't want too much of spread also for the exterior lighting. I just want some cone angle of something like this for applying for the exterior lights. I'm just going to take this, and guys pay attention to this. I'm going to apply the spotlight for this spaces, and always make sure if you want a light fill on your on your wall or something, light fall on your wall, don't apply the light on your wall, apply on your ceiling, then only you will get the light fill, light, the shape on your wall. So I'm just going to click on the, you guys can pay you guys can see it, right? I'm going to place my light on the ceiling, click, you will get the light fill on my wall. So here I'm just going to click on the wall, you guys can see it. I'll just get the light fill, but I'll not get the shape, something like effect falling on the wall. So always make sure you guys are applying a light on the ceiling to get the effect on your wall. So I made a light fill like this. Okay, now I'm just going to select this selection, select it. Okay, after like select the object, even you will get the same options like whatever the area light we applied, right? Same properties you will get it here. If you want to change the color of the light, you can change it. And here you have an option to increase and decrease the brightness. I don't want too much brightness for this building. I just keep something like this. And here is something new we're going to see it here. This is the cone angle, you can control it. So basically the spread of light however you want, the cone angle you can control it however you want. And here is something called night activation on and off. I want you guys to switch on night activation on for all your light objects which you are applying, because this night activation, when you guys are doing a night like a 3D render or something, 3D walkthrough or something. So when if you are setting daylight for one scene, and when you are in the scene 2 you are setting a night view, when it goes to daylight to the night view, automatically lights will turn on in your 3D render. So always keep your night activation on. It will be useful for the daylight also, in the night also. So in the night, when you're taking a daylight render, you will not see the night, you will not see the light. When you're taking a night render, you will see the light on your render. So just keep this night activation on, or you can also keep a random however you want. So I want you guys to set it to night activation on, and shadow keep it as a minimum, sorry, medium. And also we have a something special thing called target light. So here you guys can see I placed light at this place, and my target is towards downward. You guys can see one small blue color line right on my screen. This is the target which is already set. If you want to change the target, I'm just going to click on the target, and you can change your target of your light wherever you want. I can set it to left side of my wall. I can set it to right side. If I want, I can set it to the downward. It's up to you guys, however you're targeting your lights. So if you're setting a like a floor up lighters or something, you can apply a light in the floor, and you can change the target of the light towards up. So you will have a light effect from down to the roof. So basically from the floor to the roof. Now I applied roof to the floor. Anyway, it's up to you guys. By changing the target, you can change this kind of effects. Now I'm just going to click on OK to fix it, and here I'm going to add few more same kind of light. Now I'm not going to click on the same object and I'm going to place it here. You guys know I can make a duplicate of the same lights, right? So holding Alt, click and drag and hold Shift together at this case to get a, okay, just close this. Take your move tool, hold Alt, click and drag. You will get a copy of the object with the same properties. That's the advantage. You will get the copy with the same properties. You don't need to go and adjust it again. You will get the duplicate with the same properties of this light, and you will get a copy of it. If you guys are holding Shift together, you will move in the straight axis. Try to move, hold Shift and move. You will get it the same axis and then place it. And again hold Alt, click and drag, hold Shift to move it in this proper axis, straight axis, and then place it. So I made a duplicate copy of the 3 spotlights. Basically one spotlight I made a duplicate and I placed it here. And let's add few more lights for this wall. I'm just going to take my same light, but target angle is going to be from roof to floor. Now I'm going to place it in the floor, something like this, and you guys can see I placed it something like this. Now I'm going to use my properties to change my target angle to show like a floor uplighters. So I'm just going to target angle and click and drag and rotate it. So I'm going to set my target towards upward, and I don't want the light is actually it's floating here. So I'm just going to take my change height and I'm going to get it to the floor. Now you guys know I'm going to make a duplicate of the same light, holding Alt, click and drag. By holding Shift, you will move it in the proper axis. I'll just zoom in little to make a proper correction of the lights, placement of the light. I'll just place it one here and one here, and one more copy I'm going to do. Alt, click and drag, and one I'm going to place it under the staircase, something like this. And same this uplighters I'm going to place it for my swimming pool also. So you guys know I'm going to not place it on the water surface. I'm going to place it on the floor of my swimming pool. So if I want to place it on the floor of my swimming pool, I have to see the surface, right? Otherwise I can't place it on the surface. So I have to go down to the swimming pool, inside the swimming pool, to place the lights in the flooring. So I'm just going to take the same light, or you can use whatever lights you want. I can use the same light, and now I'm going to place the light on this floor. I'm just going to click on this. Let's give some space. Okay. Now I'm going to use my target light and change the angle of the target light. So I'm just going to place it something like this. So I placed one light here, and you guys know I'm going to duplicate it. Hold Alt, click and drag. You will get a copy of it. Okay, I made a mistake. Just delete it. I made a duplicate of the same in the same place, same light in the same place. So I'll just rotate it. Finish it and hold Alt, take your move tool, hold Alt, click and drag. Make sure you are in the move tool to make this duplicates. If you are in some other tool, you will not get a proper copy of your object. Make sure you are in the move Then only you will get a proper copy of your objects. Now again Alt and click and drag, you will get a copy of it. And now I'm going to place it somewhere like this. And fewer these places also. Hold Alt, click and drag, and then place it somewhere here. I think my cone target angle is not fine, so I'll just change it. Okay. And then hold Alt, finish it, and then hold Alt, click and drag, one more copy of it, same light, and then again hold Alt and click and drag, one more copy of the same light. Okay. Now let's come back and see what effect we have done for the swimming pool. So you guys can see it, right? Upload lighting for our swimming pool. Okay. Now we have seen how to make a spot lighting. So if for all the lighting you'll get the same properties. Only thing is the change of the angle spread and the brightness, everything will differ, and the type of the angle fall of everything, it will differ. So just make just see which light will suit for the different places. And next one, we know how to make use of this omni light fill we used, and also we can make a different color light fills also for your spaces. So if you want to make a blue color light fill, just take it and just click on it and increase the brightness. So basically, if you guys are doing a party hall, or if you're making any like like club or something, or like bar or something, interior renders, you can just use your omni light of blue color or different color fill to change the interior ambience of your lights, ambience of your spaces. You can use this different color lightings for your interior spaces. I'll just delete this. We don't need this different color lightings. I'll just delete this. Okay. So here we have different colors. By taking just one thing, we can change whatever the colors we want. Anyway, we have a color thing here, so we can change whatever colors we want. They have given in the different colors, but by taking one thing only, we can change it whatever color we want. Okay. So last thing is area light. By using this area light, we can apply a lights to your spaces, to the entire spaces. By lifting it up, you can light up the entire spaces. So here we're going to see about the line lights. So whenever you want to add a cove lighting for your interior spaces, cove lighting for any spaces you want, we're going to use our line light. Click on the line light. Now I'm going to apply a cove lighting for this place. For the exterior, I'm going to apply a cove lighting for this space. So I'm just going to click on this ceiling, not on your wall. If you click on the wall, you will not get the proper effect. Click on your ceiling, something like this. So you guys can see it, right? So I got a light fill like this. Now you can change the width of this light, and also you can change the length of this light however you want. It depends on the size of your cove you are using, and you can also increase the width. So basically it increases both the sides together. I mean it will increase the size on both either of the sides. It will increase together. So I'm just going to set it my light fill something like this, and even we have a brightness control here and fall off control here. And always for the cove lighting, don't give full fall off, because just cove lighting is just to get the light effect in the ceiling, right? So I'm just going to set my fall off something like this. So basically I just want to show some light is here and I don't want any fall off. I'm going to increase it. And even here you can change the target light, however the angle you want, you can change the targeting. And night activation on, and light source, I'm just going to switch it on. And here you have a color, I mean the brightness change and the color of your lights, basically the cove lighting or anything, you're going to apply it in this way. If you guys are designing a bar or pub or anything, if you want to give us some different color lightings for your cove lightings or something, you can give a different color fill here. Now anyway, I'm doing a residence render. If it is a warm kind of color, it's gonna suit for my residence. I'm just going to keep a warm color correlating for this. Basically, a yellowish shade of mix lighting for this. So anyway, the landscape is already done and the lightings are everything is done. So I feel the cone angle for these lights are little not fine. So I'm just going to do one thing. I'm just going to select only these lights. I'm just going to select only these lights in the swimming pool, and I'm going to make a cone. I'm just going to make a cone changes for only for these lights. To do that selection, guys, pay attention to this. I'm going to apply it in the real time thing by making the selections and all. So I'm just going to the move mode, and I have a selection, I have a control points for all the lights, right? Click and drag, make your box cover your all the lights together. So I made a 1 2 3 4 5 6. So I made a selections like this, and now I have selected the light fill also. I have placed my light fill here, right? I don't know the light fill now. I just want only the swimming pool lights to get selected. So let's deselect this. I'll just turn it something like this, so it will be easy for me. So I'm just going to delete this object. So hold control and then, okay, basically we need to remove this selection. Hold control and click on it. So we remove the selection from the selected objects. So now I have selection of only the swimming pool lights. Yeah. Now I'm going to reduce the increase or decrease the brightness for this. I think we have selected some other objects also. That's why I'm not getting a cone angle. Let me check once. Okay, we have selected 9 objects together, but 1 2 3 4 5 6. We have only 6 lights here. I think I have selected 2 more objects also together. I don't know which is that object. Let me check it. Okay, see, I have selected this line object also. I'll just uncheck it. So I have selected now only 8 objects. So in this 8 object, 2 more things also got selected. So 1 2 3 4 5 6, only 6 lights we have, but okay, here some 2 lights are there. I'll just deselect this also. Okay, this grass also got selected. That's why I'm not getting a cone angle. Now I'm getting, I'll just deselect this also. Now we have 6 selections. 6 selections are all my lights, and now I can control the cone angle for all the lights together. And the brightness I can control only for these lights, and night activation on, and all the lights target angle I can control it once. Don't control the target angle if you are selecting, if you are in the multiple selection. Okay, now let's quickly go and render this view. Now I'm just going to click on the photo. So we're going to make a render for this building. Just click on the photo and first set the view. So we have already presets of the scenes already set in the examples. Now we're just going to remove all the, double clicking on this we can delete the scenes. I'm just going to double click on it. So I deleted the scene and I'm going to delete the scene. Let's set our own scenes. We don't want those scenes, we'll set our scenes. So I'm just going something like this. I'm going to set the view like this. And first thing, when you come to your render mode, you have to set something, that is your focal length. So whenever you guys done with your build mode, when you're coming to your render mode, the last one is the render mode. When you're coming to the render mode, first thing to set in the render mode is your focal length. You guys have to set your focal length always more than 20. I'm just going to set it more than 20. It should be around 30. Normal focal length of your normal human's eyes is 35, right? So if you set more focal length only, the object, the render going to be realistic. So always set your focal length to 20, more than 20 to 30. Okay. Now I have set something like this. And second thing to apply a effect is, so first is to set your focal length, and second is to apply your 2-point perspective. Guys, pay attention to this. This is really important. So whenever you come to the render mode, first thing is to set your focal length, and second thing is to go ahead to your effect and go to your, so we have different types of effects in the row. I'm just going to click on the camera, go to my 2-point perspective and switch it on. So always keep your 2-point perspective on. This is your second step. In your render mode, the first step is to increase your focal length, and second thing is to add your effects of 2-point perspective. And after this, it's up to you guys what all effects you're going to add. So I'm going to add few effects for this to look the render really good. So even we have a different presets also in our lumion. So here we have different effects, right? And go to custom style, click on it. So here there are so many presets also. You can just, if you're doing a realistic render, if you guys, like if you guys are in the last moment, if you don't have any time to sit and add all the effects, you can just click on the, if it is a daylight render, just click on the realistic, and basically you'll get the daylight render. And if you are going for a night render, just click on it. So basically by decreasing the like color correction, exposure, everything, you'll get a nice night renders and some dawn type of render, so evening kind of view. All the presets are, everything is there. Like a color sketch, watercolor effect. So we have a different presets already loaded in the lumion. So we don't want any of these presets. You can just try it. If it is fine, you can use it. Or if you want to try your new settings, if you want to create a nice render, I always go for custom style, and I always add my own style for my renders. So I'm just going to the custom style. I'm going to add some few styles, effects. First is 2-point perspective. Second is, let's start from the sun. And this is anyways a night render. We don't want sun in it. And in this night render, you'll not be seeing the shadow. All those things is just for your daylight render. We're not going to use any of this. We can use your moon. Just go to a moon, and here we have an option to set your moon. Okay, my moon is there. Let me get this moon height little less. So I'll just place it something like this and get it little down. Again, I can just get it little down. And here I have an option to increase my moon size. So I'm just going to place it something like this. And let's go back. So we have added 2 effects. If you guys want to delete any effect, go right side, you have an option, double click on it to delete your effect. Or if you just want to hide it or disable it, hide it or enable it, just click on this. So you will hide it and enable your settings. So if you can just hide and keep, and you can just give one render, and you can just unhide it, and you can give one more render. So you'll have 2 images, with one with a moon and one without moon. By adding any kind of effects also, you can switch it on and off. You can take a renders. So I'm just going to add few more effects. So under the sun, we have done everything. So we have just added a moon because a night render this is. So under the camera, we added a 2-point perspective. These things all will work under your this one, under the daylight render. Definitely you can add an exposure for this. So basically you will add a lighting, more lighting for your building. Just adjust it however you want, the exposure of your image. Anyway, this is a night render. I don't want to show too much of lighting for my building. My exposure is something like this, effects. And lens flare in the daylight render we're going to use, not in the not in the night render. And depth of the field, we will add it in the later stages, not in this render. Basically, depth of the field will show nearer objects blurry, and farther objects you can show it clear way, or you can do it in the vice versa also. Farther objects in the blurry version and nearer objects in the clear one. We can do it in the later part. And these are some effects like a tilt shift and chromatic aberrations. So basically you get like a different colors of like renders. So these things and all, you guys can go ahead and explore this. We're not going to do all these things in a night render. And scenes and animation, this are just for your 3D walkthroughs and fly throughs. let's see these things later. Let's go ahead and check what all we have in the weathers and climate. Okay, now we can adjust our skies and clouds for our night render. So I'm just going to increase the master cloud and low clouds little and high clouds little. So you guys can see the clouds right here in the position. I'm just moving it. So anyway, this is a night render. There's no use of giving the night, I mean, to the clouds and all. So I'll just reduce it. I don't want, if you guys want to add a cloud and something, you can add it, but I don't want to show this cloud. I'll just delete it. So I have a beautiful moon on the sky. I'll just keep it something like this, add effect. And if you want to add a rain, you will see only the fog in the daylight render. In the night time, you will not see the fog. So no need to add this. So rain effect, so you guys can see it, right? The rain effect. So if you guys are doing a video render, you will have a animation of the rain falling. Even this is a photo render, you will not see any effect. Distortion, just increasing it. Cloud brightness and cloud, this thing you can change it however you want. So this is full cloudy and this is something without cloudiness. I'm just going to keep it something like this. And rain speed, this thing, you'll get it under the video when render. You can't adjust this in the photo render. So let's quickly see what are things we can do. And autumn color and all, anyways, the night render it won't work. We'll see the later part. And sketches. So there are different types of sketches you can do it for your render. So if you just want a pencil sketch for your renders, just go ahead and click on your outlines. Under the outlines, you will get a pencil sketch of your building. So you'll get a beautiful pencil sketch of your building. So if you guys want to export it to the portfolio or something, you can just take a render of this and you can upload it in the portfolio. So these things are all you can do it in the sketches. Just go ahead and see what all things you can do it in the sketches. So you'll get a beautiful effects in the blueprint. I'll just delete the outline. So you guys can see it, right? I'll get a grid lines for the buildings. So grid scale, you can adjust it. So you can show it like the building of blueprint on one side and the render on the other side. So basically you need to take a render of this and with the same angle and everything, switch off this effect and take a render of it. So you'll have a blueprint render and also the realistic render. You can take it to the Photoshop. In the Photoshop, you guys will learn how to make a merge of two images. So you can show it like the image is starting from this blueprint and going to the realistic render. So this kind of effect and all you learn it in the Photoshop. So I don't want this to show it here. Let's take a realistic render only. And these things you guys can like go ahead and see what all effects you can apply it. So under the colors, I'm going to add an analog color. So click on the analog color. We have a different styles with different analog colors in the Photoshop with the lumion. So let's see which analog color suits for my render. For the night render, I'll just see which suits. I think this color suits, right? I'm just going to use this. And here is the option where you can adjust the analog color lap. So basically it will give a nice effect for your renders.
Sir, how we get the rain effect? I missed it once you.
Sorry, you're not good. Which
rain
one?
effect. Rain effect. How we can
Go to effects. Under the weathers and cloud, you will find an option for rain.
Yeah, the time.
Getting it? Yeah. Okay. So we have set the view. Now I'm going to store my view. After once we set everything, I'm just going to store my camera. So you guys can see it, right? I stored my camera here. Now I'm just going to put this view for my render. So we have added all the effects. So here we have an option for styrofoam. So basically this styrofoam will not give you any textures. So if you're developing a concept development, you can just get it, add all the objects. You can get a render of styrofoam. So basically you'll get a concept kind of building 3D model. So I don't want this. So I'll just if you want to material only one particular material in your render, you can just do it. So you have to select which material you need to highlight it. So if you want to highlight only this texture on your building, just click on it and say okay. So you will have a highlight of only that material in your building. So I can highlight it with different colors. So if you guys are doing a material render, if you're a product designer, or if you're an interior designer something, in the render, if you want to show only that part highlighted, you can just select that material and you can put any color for the highlight and you can render it. So it will highlight and show only the material in that part in your building or interiors or anything. So these are some effect you can do it for your renders. So I'm going to do a realistic render. I'm not going to do any of this. So I set my view and the rain effect is on, unlock color is on, exposure I have given something, and moon I added, and this is a cloudy thing. I'm not seeing any moon anyway. And let's add few more things. Let's go and see what all things we have. God rays, you can't add for your night render. So basically you will get the sun rays coming out of your clouds. This is a God rays. And definitely you can add a color correction. So I'm just going to click on the color correction and I'm going to add little temperature to it. So basically it's going to give some warm feel of render. So tint however you want. I'm just going to adjust my tint little, and the brightness of your render however you want, you can adjust it. And limit light, it's going to reduce your darkness of it, it's going to increase the shadow for your render. I don't want to give anything. I'm just going to keep my temperature something like this. So if you completely reduce, it's going to become a blue color. When you increase it completely, it's going to become a yellow color. So somewhere between this, I'm going to keep it the color corrections, and I'm going to again store this camera, and I'm going to put for render. So render picture, desktop mode. So I'm just going back. So I'll just give one name for this and save it. So let's go and see how's the render. So this is the final output of the render we have done in this today's class. So I want you guys also to get the quality of the output in this, I mean in the same quality. So add what all effects I have added in the class. So try the same effects, try adding all the same effects, try adding all the lights. I want you guys to add the area light, spotlights, omni lights wherever you want, and always night activation on for all the lights. And some places, see, I am not seeing the light of this place. The reason is my night activation would be off or something. That's the reason I'm not seeing the light of this place. Make sure your night activation is on for all the lights. So when you put down your sun, you will see all the lights. So if your night activation is off, you will not see the lights. So make sure your night activation is off on, and then add all the effects. Just make experiment with all the effects, try adding it and see what all things you can do it. So and also the main thing, just 2 minutes guys, I'll just like finish off this thing. So this is really important. Now I'm just going to the build mode, and if you guys feel you are seeing a reflection of the trees and everything, with so many reflections of your sky and everything on your glass part, if you have a good facade of full glasses in your facade, you have to do something. Just go to object and go to the lines and the special object, click on it, go to your utility, and here we have a reflection control. Just take your reflection control and put it anywhere in your building. So it's gonna control your reflection. You will not see any reflection of your sky, you will not see any reflection of your ground part. So basically whatever the objects you placed in front of your building, you will be seeing only those reflection, and you will not see any unwanted reflections on your glass. So basically you will not see the sky reflection, you will not see the ground reflection. Whatever the object is opposite to the the glass, you'll be seeing only those reflection. Let's go back and see. So this is a render, and there's one more thing called reflection in our effects also. Let's add the reflections also in our renders. Camera, exposure, depth, lens flap.
It's in the sun itself.
It's in the sun, right?
Yeah, third one, top.
Okay. Now I'm going to add a reflection. This reflection gonna give more reflection for your places which you're going to select. Now we have a reflection here. Now I'm just going to click on the edit. So we're going to select the places where we want to add more reflections to your surfaces. So to add a reflection, click on this plus and click on the surface where you want to get more amount of reflections on your surface. So now I'm just going to basically select all the glass parts. So now I selected this surface, click on add plane, click on another glass part surface and click on all the glass part surfaces to see the reflection of the things. So I'm just going to select on this place even. So basically I selected all the glass parts in my building. Click on OK and then here I'm going to keep my preview quality as normal, and if you want a high quality reflection, then switch on your speed ray reflection. So in the daylight render you will be seeing a good amount of reflection on your screen, on your surface. Anyway, it's a night render, you're not seeing too many reflections, but this is the thing of reflections. Now let's take a one more render for this. I'll just name it as 13 save. So if you guys if you have a less amount of speed quality, don't put for the print quality, just take a email quality renders. So you guys can see it, right? The reflection of the cove light is falling on the glass surface. So the amount of reflection, you guys can see it, right? Before we didn't get this light reflection. So basically this cove light reflection on the glass. By adding the reflection, we got the reflection of even this building on my glass part. Let's go and check the difference between. So you guys can't see any reflection of the this part on this glasses, right? So in this you guys can see the reflection of the glass. However, you're getting, and you guys can see the reflections, right, on the water surface also. In this render we didn't get that much of reflection. After adding a reflection, we are getting even the building reflections on the water. So this is how the reflection works. So anyone, any doubts? So I'll just share this image also in the recording folder. You guys can just go ahead and see what all effects I added. And I want you guys to get the same quality output render from your side also. If you guys feel you have done a really great renders, just share it in the group. Or if you guys feel you want to improvise yourself, just share it with me like in the private chat. I'll just have a look of it and I'll give the inputs for you, like where all you want to improve it and what all effect you need to add it and what all elements like lights or anything object. I'll tell you what all things you can do it there to improvise the render. So any doubts guys till this, anyone?
No, sir.
So,
Okay.
No
so
doubts.
Yeah.
is there any changes in 9.5?
No,
Like
same.
I can find my rain effect.
Is it? Just go to the effect, add effects and go to your clouds. I mean the clouds and climate, you will find it here, right?
No, it's not there.
You're not getting it. Your version is 9.5.
9.5.
Okay, I'll just have a look of it, how the interface and everything, and I'll your name. I'll just note
My name is Khalil Rahman.
Khalil, right?
Khalil.
Khalil Rahman. Okay, Khalil. I'll just look about 9.5. Where is that option? Those things and all. And I'll let
It
you.
just shows precipitation.
It is there in which?
Precipitation.
Precipitation.
But it's like, yeah, it's a combination of snow and rain.
Oh, okay. Okay, snow and
But
rain.
I can separate between rain and snow.
Yeah. You can just reduce the snow and you can just increase the rain. So it might be you might be getting only the rain in that effect. Just try this out.
Yeah, not like yours, but it's different, entirely different.
Okay. Okay, guys. So any other doubts? Anyone? So you guys can see this is the normal thing which I have done in the build mode, and this is the output from your different types of effects you added here. So I'll just switch off and show you guys all the effects just by disabling the effect. I'll just switch it off, all the effects, so you guys can see from where we converted the render to where. Disable effect, and disable the effect and disable the effect and disable the effect. So this is the normal view. So this is the normal scene, which like a normal model, and by adding a reflection, you guys know what effect we got. So you guys can see even in the wet asphalt, we are getting the reflection of the building here. And adding the color correction, we added little like a yellowish shade, like a warm effect for the building. By adding a analog color lab colors, we got a nice the feel of the light, I mean the colors. By adding a rain effect, we got a nice the fill of the cloudy cloud sky, and some nice rain effect here. And by adding a exposure, we made little brightness for this building. By add anyway, moon is not visible in the cloudy sky, so from there we transformed it to this place. So I want you guys to take a different scene. So I just made a scene of this way. You guys can just go ahead and make a nice scenes however you want. So even this view is really beautiful. We have some trees here. We have a like dining table here, swimming pool here. We are seeing some nice lights. So just set your focal length to around 25 to something, and then give a render for this. So I can just also set this. So I stored a view. You guys can see it here. After I stored my view, I lost my all my effect. So I added so many effects here, but after taking a storing my view, I lost my all my views. The reason is this is a new camera. I have to start adding all the effects from the first. It's not like that. I'm just going to give a copy of this effect. I'm going to place it for this camera also. Let's see how to do it. So just click on this menu, and here under the edit, you have an option for copy effect. Now go to this camera, and then go to your okay. Because of this reflection is on, my system became slow. I'll just switch it off. See, it became fast now. So I went to the photo 2, go to the menu again, edit again, and paste effect. So basically you'll copy all the effects and I'll put it, you will put to your second photo also. Now I can store this. So you guys can see I have a different view of here and here. So we can render this also. I'll just 2 seconds, right? We'll just render it and we'll see the output, and we'll just close the class today. So here I just switched off the reflection and not be seeing too much reflection. This, if your reflection is on, your lumion will start lagging. So this is the output of this view. I'll just share this all these images also in the recording folder. You guys can just go through it. And if you guys want to save this package completely, just go to the file and give some name for it and click on save as, and you can just give a name for it and you can save it. So if you open this package, your all the settings will be there, and all the effects whichever you added will be there. Whatever the objects and changes to object, what everything will get saved. So basically you can just transfer this file also. You can open it in some other lumion and I can start working on it. So basically if you want to transfer this file also, you can just copy this file, you can give it to your friends or anyone, so again they can work on it. So that's how the package works. So now I saved it as a package. So this is the package file. When I double click on it, I'll open this lumion file. So this is 42 MB. I'll try to save this file also with you guys, so you guys can see what all effects I added and everything. Night render. Okay. So any doubts, guys? Anyone?
No doubts.
Okay, cool. Okay, guys. So Aura Wind. So you want some thing, right, to install your Lumion?
Yes, can you make it, or
Sure. No.
we'll see tomorrow? Because you have your dinner right
Oh,
now.
okay. That's fine. I'll sit and I'll finish up this thing. I'll like after this class we'll sit together and finish it off. So any others? Any
Okay.
doubt?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, guys. Then see you everyone tomorrow. Good night.
Thank you,
Please.
sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Very good night.
Thank you, sir.
Bye. Yeah.